Hi, welcome to this demo for the Playground for Entrepreneurs Playful but Serious Business. Playground for Entrepreneurs is a coaching tool and a board game to be used by entrepreneurship coaches and entrepreneurship educators. So it is our mission to make entrepreneurship coaching and teaching more fun, to make it more interactive, to help coaches do effective coaching with their entrepreneurs to get to more innovative ideas and to enhance the community between those entrepreneurs. So first in this demo, I'm going to share what it is and what it's not. So your expectations from this game and coaching tool. Then we're going to take a look at the game itself. And then we're going to take a look at some testimonials, a couple of pictures of people around the world playing the Playground for Entrepreneurs, and also the contents of the Facilitator training. So entrepreneurship is hard work. That's no secret, right? So entrepreneurship coaching is usually filled with serious conversations, a lot of pressure. It's a very competitive environment, and there's a lot of pressure and a lot of hardworking entrepreneurs. So coaches usually put the pressure up. They help get to the right insights, but also push forward to get real progress. But it can get very tense, right? It's good to want progress, but it gets really tense. So entrepreneurship is very often a lonely or a very frustrating road. There's frequent setbacks. There's a lot of talk about failure, for example. It's a tough, competitive environment. There's a lot of frustration and tension, and that could be something to be improved. Also, it's no secret, about 90% of the startups fail. So frequently mentioned reasons: no market needs, got outcompeted, flawed business model, not the right team, burned out or lack passion. And these are all reasons that can be influenced by a coach. So a coach can help avoid those reasons. Well, entrepreneurship is always going to be a very risky activity. So there's no guarantee here, but coaches can definitely influence those reasons, and good coaches help their entrepreneurs get over these obstacles that they might very frequently find at the start of their entrepreneurial path. So coaches have an essential part in getting the right insights, coming to the right pivots and other developments to avoid these type of situations. So something that might help these coaches do their work is the Playground for Entrepreneurs. So this really gamifies the coaching process. It makes entrepreneurship coaching more fun. It provides a rich, nurturing conversation so the coach can do their work better, can get to the right insights sooner, can get to more innovative ideas around the business models of their entrepreneurs. And it helps also to create community really fast between entrepreneurs. So they start collaborating, they start helping each other with the right contacts, with the right stories. They start exchanging stories and experiences. They start even exchanging services. So they start helping each other really fast, and you get kind of an instant community that goes way beyond like the water cooler, coffee machine type of general conversation. So who am I to take this from? So of course, you know by now, my name is Inge de Dreux. I have had over 10 years of experience with startups, mentoring startups and coaching startups. And I used to, a lot of this experience I had in Colombia, working for a nationwide accelerator program. I would travel to meet these entrepreneurs and their daily mentors. So I would meet them a couple of times and would support them and their coaches in the process of getting to product market fit. So I've seen over 500 of those startups, and well, a lot of things happened to them. Some of them made it big, some of them made it, but not so big, but locally successful. A lot of them pivoted, others found jobs, a lot of things happened to them. And I've seen that frustration of failure, which cannot completely be avoided, but also how to guide towards success and have the coach really support the entrepreneurs in their path to find the right business model. So I understand this frustration of both the coach and the entrepreneur. Entrepreneurship is still going to be hard work, but it can be a bit more fun. So what does this do? It helps the coaches to do their job better and in a more playful way. It gamifies the coaching process. It doesn't definitely take away the coach, but it rather helps the coach to do their work in a more fun, a more playful way, leading to more innovative ideas, leading to better business models, leading to business model weaknesses coming to the light a lot sooner so that the coach can actually help the entrepreneur to do something about it. It's also a vehicle to share knowledge. It creates instant community, and it's great for introductory workshops, intakes, group coaching sessions. You can do like coaching processes with it in order to accompany the entrepreneurs to find the right business model for them. So why would you add playfulness to these type of processes? Well, playfulness has proven to be an essential part to get an essential element, I should say, to get to innovation. So playfulness makes the best ideas come out. It creates a safe environment without judgment for the moment, so that good ideas can actually come to the surface and be expressed. So it's a safe environment. You get to better ideas. In the context of entrepreneurship, you get to more experiments that you want your entrepreneurs to do. So better business models in the end. It creates collaboration and it improves communication as well. We've had a couple of experiences with 2 or more team members sitting around the same table, and they would get quite profound conversations about, for example, their value proposition and how this would actually work and how to communicate this value proposition, because the game made clear that sometimes they have different understandings of things. So it's an opportunity to have that conversation to get really clear about the business model and the value proposition, and then actually go out and create that company. So why the playground for entrepreneurs? Well, it creates those better conversations, that instant community. It is fun in a very competitive and hardworking environment. This is something that you can, depending on your goals as a coach or educator, might use quite loosely or a bit more structural. It causes less stress. Doesn't take away the hard work. It's still going to be hard work, but you can do it in a more playful way. And it's a very flexible tool. Now, what do I mean by flexible? It's very easy to adjust to your particular audience, whether you want a bit more of an informal, loose kind of approach to get people to share some insights and create some ideas, or whether you want to apply it a bit more structural to your audience. You can very easily adjust it in order to make this happen. So this is to be used by teachers and coaches to facilitate early stage entrepreneurship. This is a very introductory type of tool. This is very much for people who are just starting out. It is for entrepreneurs who are searching for a business model, referring here to the definition of a startup by Steve Blank. So these people are searching for a new business model. They're figuring it out. As soon as they have it all figured out and they're not willing to think about new options, new ideas, new business models, this doesn't work anymore, because there's a lot of reflective questions. And that is what the game is really. It is for entrepreneurship students and classes. We're applying it to in different university contexts right now, and it works very well to start entrepreneurial projects, but also to enhance entrepreneurial thinking with your students. And it is to be played generally by a coach with 2 to 7 participants, finding kind of a balance between personal attention and also creating that community. So you want people to go and give each other feedback and comment on each other's ideas. That's what generates really that community. So finding a balance that should be about anywhere between 2 and 7 participants. So don't deny your entrepreneurs a chance to experience your coaching in a more playful way. So now we'll go ahead and play. So this is the online version on Tabletopia of the game. We're using this in this demo for clarity, of course. I can show you the board, I can show you the cards with the questions on it, but it's a lot clearer on screen like this. Also, there are opportunities to get access to the online game. For example, it's included in our facilitator trainings. So let's take a look. This is the board. Then these are the questions. Then we've got a dice. We can roll the dice. Let's say it's 1. We usually start at the hard part, but after that there's no clear path defined. So let's start at the hard. I'll show you a couple of questions, and then you can see the type of conversations that you can build as a coach with your participants playing this game. So this is a question about the customer segment. Are you part of the customer segment yourself, or do you know people who are a part of this segment? How do you become constantly more aware of everything that your customer needs and values? So this is as an entrepreneur, your relation to the customer segment, and how do you identify with them? As they say, people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So how do you experience that care? So the entrepreneurs here, the participants whose turn it is for this question, just start sharing. Typically, we have a couple of ways to do time management. There's like different ways of managing time depending also on what your goal is as a coach, as a facilitator, or depending on your audience. So one of the ways is a chess timer. Basically, each participant has 15 minutes of time to spend, and they can divide it however they want between the questions, depending on how useful the conversation that follows after the question is. There's also a more fixed time management, which is 2 minutes of sharing by each participant, and then 1 minute of feedback by each of the participants, the other participants who want to share something according to the question, of course. So this is going to be a conversation really about what is your connection with this customer segment, and how do you keep in contact? How do you keep feeling what they're feeling, really? So let's do one of the ear as well. I'm just going to do this randomly so you get a kind of a feel of what the questions are like. Which events are useful to learn more about your idea and about your market? Name at least 2. So this is about events. You can use likely events, so industry events, but you can also use events that might be very inspirational. So maybe not directly related, but let's create a conversation about what would be really inspirational for a certain product or service, a certain business idea. So that's what this conversation is going to be about. Now, it's important to note we've had facilitators all over the world, really. There's been a lot of facilitators from Latin America. The game is also in Spanish, so there's been a lot of facilitators in Latin America. Also in the US, in Europe, in India, in China, in Africa. So this game is not really culturally oriented. Now, of course, the questions remain relevant. The answers might depend on the culture. So maybe the recommendations would really vary amongst several countries, but still everyone is going to have to attend to certain events. So which ones are going to be useful? That's going to be a very useful conversation to have with the entrepreneurs anyway, independently of where you are and what culture you're in. So let's do the I, number 6. How can you visualize your customer's experience both with and without your product without judging? So that is really about visualizing your customer doing something, observing it, and seeing how you can go deeper into that visualization. Now, of course, sharing it with other participants just has an effect on how deep you're going to do this visualization, but also they can add certain things to that experience. What if something unexpected happens? What if it's not as positive as you think? What if a problem occurs? So this is really meant to kind of simulate that observation experience and see how your product is going to change that, the problem of the customer. Oh, let's roll the dice once more. Number 4. What market experiments can you think of to get flooded with attention from your potential customers? How much time and money do you have to invest in these experiments? So that is going to be really about how to get attention, how to let people know, how to, well, it's got some product design in it. So how do you make sure that your customers are going to talk about this, but also some marketing, and how much time and money do you have to invest in these experiments anyway? So how can you get this going? And within your constraints, how can you make this work? So these are the a couple of the questions. I just want to show you a couple of the internal circles as well. You don't have enough money to invest in high profile marketing. You decide to engage in guerrilla marketing instead. Which actions do you choose? As you can see, there are a couple of questions that ask their fellow players for inspiration or ideas or feedback explicitly. Now, if this is the case, then the person whose turn it is can give a reward to the person who gives the best advice or the best ideas or the best inspiration. So that is when the timing of the chess player applies. So what we get in that sense is that we get a reward and the person gets one of these cards. So let's see. This round you'll only receive negative feedback. Well, that's a reward too, right? So these cards just offer some sort of benefits. Let's take another one. You can get some extra time. You can send somebody somewhere else. You can get also only positive feedback, or maybe you can decide who gives you feedback first, who talks first when it's your turn to play. So these are always a certain reward, and you get these when you give good advice. So that's a little incentive to give good advice. Now, this question was also related to marketing. We had a Similar question on the outside. Let's take another one. You observe your customer and notice that there might be a product that complements yours. This inspires you to collaborate with another company. Which company would you like to work with? So this is really to think about collaborations and how you can create more innovation within your context, but getting your ally, getting your partner somewhere else. Let's just take a question from each again. You reorganize your pitch. Mention an interesting anecdote, shocking facts, or surprising questions that you could use as an introduction. So how do you get the attention when you're pitching to people? And let's take this one. You decide to invest your own money as seed capital. What do you invest in? What's your priority? So that really is meant to make the entrepreneurs think about how to get to priorities in terms of investment. And of course, as it's your own money, be very careful about it. That's something that's you need to invest in things that can really lever your productivity to the future. So those are just a couple of examples of the questions. Now what I've just explained is the basic playing dynamic. Now there's all sorts of things that we've done, dynamics that we've created, templates that we've created to make it more like a game. So for example, this is called a playground. So we have a seesaw. So the seesaw is really about how to get to the tipping point, what you need in order to get to the tipping point. There's a checklist to use with your entrepreneurs within a process and to really be able to measure their progress over time. And like that, there's all sorts of templates, checklists, resources, dynamics that you could use to help and to enhance your entrepreneurship coaching and to make it more fun at the same time. Now, as you can see, this is a lot of content. These are 48 questions, and you could probably have a very deep, very long conversation about each of these questions, and you're not going to be able to finish it within a playing session, which is typically about 2 hours. So don't expect to be able to finish it actually. Each participant is probably going to be able to answer maybe 5, maybe 6 questions, and that's just enough to get a good value, enough information, enough experience, enough insights to be able to go to work, to come home with a to-do list, but also not be overwhelmed with information. So this is very good for repeat play, because every time you get a different combination of questions, different content of questions, and different conversations. So this really allows you to repeat play the game, and the participants can come in several times, and every time the session will be a bit different because the questions are different and the conversation is going to be different. So now let's take a look at a couple of testimonials. So these testimonials tend to be quite long. I just want to take out a couple of, emphasize a couple of pieces from them. So this is a testimonial by a player, and she says, in essence, the game is a conversation starter with well-developed questions, so you really can't get away with a yes or no or superficial answer. She also says, after more than 2 hours, we stopped, but we would still be able to continue for a couple of hours, really. So she really emphasizes the deep conversation that it generates and how that enriches what she thinks about her project or her business. Now let's take a look at this second testimonial, also by a player. So the nice thing about this game is that you get questions you haven't thought about before. You have to solve these on the spot. This is a very fun and relevant situation, being an entrepreneur. So in addition to being a lot of fun, this game is also very beneficial for your company's progress. And something else he says, this saves unnecessary investments. So that's something interesting because he got really valuable insights that have avoided mistakes in his business. So that's what this generated for him. Now, a testimonial by a coach. So even entrepreneurs and business owners need to unwind and have fun from time to time. When was the last time you've had fun and an enjoyable interaction with your business coach that didn't feel like a typical coaching session? And he also says it makes the often hard and messy work of entrepreneurship a bit more bearable and even enjoyable. So he's also emphasizing the questions, conversation that generate feedback, insights, and reflections. That's what he found in the game. Another testimonial, also by a coach. So the playground for entrepreneurs, apart from being fun to play, also helps the participants to ask the right questions to achieve a broader, more profound view on their venture or project. They receive suggestions and hear about other people's experiences, which nurtures everyone's process in a playful and pressure-free way. So also nurturing everybody's process. Let's see, the playground is a board game that gamifies the entrepreneur coaching experience and helps coaches facilitate a meaningful discussion with impactful outcomes. Through the questions, they obtain quality feedback from not only from the facilitator, but from other participating entrepreneurs as well. Provides a safe and fun environment for like-minded people to just talk about their business and ask for suggestions for the next steps. Okay, that was also a testimonial by a facilitator. So let's take a look at a couple of pictures. We have a very international facilitators community and a very growing facilitators community. So this is a picture from a facilitator in China. And then there's a couple of pictures from the Netherlands. We used this, for example, in a networking event between entrepreneurs, which was interesting because the entrepreneurs knew each other already, but they got to a very different type of conversation than they would normally. And they obtained a lot more insight in their own business, but also in what the other people were actually doing with their business and their challenges. So this is, for example, in Colombia. These are students playing the playground for entrepreneurs. These are also students, but in the Netherlands. Just a couple of pictures to give you an idea what these sessions look like. So now I want to briefly discuss the facilitators training, because the facilitators training really offers you the opportunity to get confidence with this tool and to use some extra resources to get to know how to adapt it to different audiences with using different templates or different additional dynamics to adjust it to your audience and being able to apply it as such. So you get a 6-week training. It's got a lot of self-paced content, videos basically, but also documents. And then we have 1.5 hour live calls every week within this six-week training. And that is really just to practice and to train how to use this playground for entrepreneurs and to integrate it into your activities as a facilitator. So this offers you a lot of additional resources and templates, additional gamified dynamics, also focused on processes, actually giving you a structure and being able to measure actually the progress along the playground for entrepreneurs of your entrepreneurs. And it gives you access to a worldwide and growing community of practitioners. So that's what, and of course the certification, you get the certification with it. So that's the benefits of the facilitator training. So I hope you had fun with this demo, and I'm looking forward to seeing you at a facilitators training or using a playground for entrepreneurs with your entrepreneurs or your students very soon. So the playground for entrepreneurs, playful but serious business.